Noem and her husband use a charity for disabled children to divert tens of thousands of dollars to herself? Here's why I believe so. Earlier this summer, we learned that Kristi Noem took an $80,000 payment and that it was from American Resolve. And American Resolve received that money from Ashwood Strategies, a dark money entity registered to the home of Stacey Good. Just Ashwood and American Resolve were both formed on the same day in late June, leaving only 122 days of the year 2023 for her to have actually earned or done an activity to earn money in the year 2023. In those 122 days, I couldn't find any fundraising activity, but I did find something interesting from 2022. Filed by Stacey Good in 2022 for American Resolve Inc., a political action committee, it lists three notable expenditures: $24,935 to J Best Company LLC, $18,200 to Kyle Lalim, a realtor at Hagen Nelson Realty, and $21,801 to Dakota Giftware Supply. No sale records match Lalim's payment, so it wasn't real estate, but my investigation photos from 2022 show him in a chef's apron at Joy Ranch, a nonprofit for children with disabilities. And it was hosted by the owner, Joy Nelson, who also owns Hagen Nelson Realty. Dakota Giftware is nearby, and what they do is they offer decor, centerpieces, and things like that for big events. So it would make sense, right, that now this pack is probably paying for both the chef as well as the decor at this event. From this, I looked at the PAC's categorical spending for expenditures, and they state that they spent $40,001 on fundraising. That is the exact total that they spent with both Dakota Giftware as well as Kyle Lalim. Dakota Giftware also has several pictures on their page at Joy Ranch. And in a 2024 post, Kyle Lalim is thanking them for providing flowers to the same event but in a different year. Her husband, Brian, were in attendance at this event. What's more, tax filings from 2022 for Joy Ranch indicate that her husband, Brian Noem, sits on their board. And their daughter, Cassidy, is a realtor with Hagen Nelson Realty. In order for a political action committee to give to a nonprofit like Joy Ranch, they do have to be a social welfare nonprofit, which Joy Ranch is. So they could have just given Joy Ranch the money, but it's clear that they're trying to obscure where it began because they want to obscure where it ends. One more connection I'll make for you in a minute, but basically what's happening is that a PAC set up by Noem is paying for events at a nonprofit her husband sits on the board of, and they're paying people that are part of Nelson Hagen Realty, which Joy Ranch owner also owns. Stacey Good, that filled out the paperwork for American Resolve, the PAC, in 2022, also had another interesting expenditure. That was to J Best Company. Now, in 2023, when American Resolve, the nonprofit which paid Ashwood, which paid Kristi Noem, is formed, it's not only formed at her address, but she fills out those tax documents as well. And how we know that she is trying to obscure where all of this money is coming from and going is that in addition to Ashwood, remember, American Resolve made a payment to one other place, and that was J Best Company, which they allege is a fundraising fee just like Ashwood. In another illegal move, she has the address correct of both Ashwood as well as J Best Company, but she marks the state as Alabama. Neither of those are in Alabama, and I believe that this is to throw off watchdogs. And this is important, right? Because Kristi Noem's attorneys are arguing that she acted in the spirit of the law, but the spirit of the law is to have transparency in terms of where funds are coming from and going to. And the spirit's not exactly in the room with this, is it, Kristi?